We've all been there, right? At the doctor's office, you get those numbers, 120 over 80. But what does that actually mean? It's one of the most important signs of your overall health, but honestly, it's often a bit of a mystery. So let's unpack it together.
You know the drill. The cuff tightens up on your arm, you hear that little whooshing sound, and then you get two numbers. Maybe it's 120 over 80, maybe something else. But what is that reading really telling you about what's going on inside your body right at that moment?
Okay, so at its simplest, blood pressure is just the force of your blood pushing against the walls of your blood vessels. A good way to think about it is like a garden hose. Your heart is the faucet, and your blood is the water. Blood pressure is how much force that water is putting on the inside of the hose. We measure it in something called millimeters of mercury, or mmHg for short, and this little number is a huge clue into the health of your heart.
So why two numbers? Well, the top number, that's your systolic pressure. That's the peak pressure when your heart is actively squeezing and pushing blood out. The bottom number, your diastolic pressure, is the pressure when your heart is resting between beats. Both are important, but here's a key takeaway. Especially for folks over 50, that top number, the systolic, is often seen as the biggest warning sign for future heart issues.
All right, so we've got our two numbers. But a number by itself doesn't mean a whole lot, right? You need context. The American Heart Association actually breaks it all down into 5 very clear categories, from normal all the way up to crisis. So let's see where the numbers fall. And here is the cheat sheet. To be in the normal category, you need your top number to be less than 120 and your bottom number to be less than 80. Simple enough. For elevated, your top number creeps up a bit, between 120 and 129, while the bottom one stays under 80. Now pay close attention here because the logic changes for hypertension stage 1. Your top number is between 130 and 139, or your bottom is between 80 and 89. That or is a huge deal. It means even if just one of those numbers is in that range, you're in stage 1. Same or logic for stage 2. And then, at the very top, you have a hypertensive crisis, which is a straight-up medical emergency.
So why are we so obsessed with these categories? What are the actual stakes? Well, when your numbers are consistently high, what we call hypertension, it puts a massive strain on your entire body.
Think about it. That constant high pressure is like running your car's engine in the red 24/7. It wears things out. It forces your heart to work way harder than it should, and it can damage the delicate lining of your arteries. That damage can lead to plaque buildup, a nasty condition called atherosclerosis. And over the long haul, that strain can lead to a heart attack, a stroke, kidney failure, even vision loss. The risks are very, very real.
Now, high blood pressure gets all the attention, and for good reason. But here's the thing, it's not the only problem. You can also have the opposite issue, where the pressure in your system drops too low. That's called hypotension.
See, when your blood pressure is too low, it means your brain, your heart, and all your other organs might not be getting enough oxygen-rich blood to do their jobs properly. This can cause some pretty immediate symptoms, like dizziness or fainting, which is obviously dangerous if you fall. But in really severe cases, it's not just about feeling a little woozy. It can actually lead to shock or permanent damage to your organs.
Okay, so we've covered what the numbers mean, and we've talked about the risks of being too high or too low. So, what do we do about it? How do we stay in that sweet spot? Well, the good news is you've got a lot more control than you might think.
And let's be real, there are some things we just can't change. Our genetics, our family history, the fact that we're all getting older, those are cards we're dealt. But, and this is the important part, focusing on what you can control is where all the power is.
And this is your playbook, your action plan. It's not about some single magic pill, it's about making a bunch of smart, consistent choices. Things like eating a diet full of whole foods, getting your heart rate up with regular cardio, and seriously cutting back on sodium and processed junk. Those things make a huge difference. And don't forget managing stress and taking care of other health issues like diabetes. They're all pieces of the same puzzle. Now, those lifestyle changes are for the long game. But there are definitely times when you need to act immediately. And knowing the warning signs of a crisis is absolutely critical. And I want you to really hear this. This isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a critical directive. A hypertensive crisis, that top category on the chart we saw, is a full-blown medical emergency. Waiting it out is not an option. It needs immediate medical attention to prevent some really serious complications.
So what does a crisis actually look like? These are the red flags you cannot ignore. A sudden, severe headache that feels different from others. Shortness of breath. Pain in your chest or back.
Any kind of numbness or weakness, a sudden change in your vision, or trouble speaking. If you experience these, you need to get help right away.
Outside of those emergency situations, though, the best tool you have is information. Regular checkups are great, and you can even use an at-home monitor. That way you and your doctor can see the trends over time, which lets you be proactive and stay ahead of any potential problems. So the next time you get your blood pressure taken, don't just see it as another number to forget. Think of it as a snapshot, a page in the ongoing story of your health. And the real question is, are you listening to the story it's trying to tell you?